Hello, this is Daniel Mart, and I'm back again with another video. This week, we're going to discuss 5 tips on what to do for film festivals, how to submit your films into film festivals. This is actually a video I've been planning on doing for some time, even before my whole channel update. I've been wanting to do this video already for some time, and now that I'm starting to do videos on a regular basis, this seems like a great video to do, especially now that I'm actually currently submitting to film festivals. A recent project that I produced, Loose Ends, is starting its film festival run. I've been submitting it to film festivals recently, and it's got me thinking about some of these tips that I want to say, and here we are. So let's begin. Now, the first tip I have may actually seem a bit counterintuitive if you're going to be submitting to film festivals, but that's the fact that not every film you make actually needs to be submitted to a film festival. How you basically determine that's up to you. If you really feel like you need to submit your films into a film festival, go ahead, that's up to you, and more power to you. But there's times where actually uploading the film to YouTube or Vimeo or whatever would actually be more beneficial to you as a filmmaker, as an artist, than actually submitting that to film festivals. An example for me would be for Silent Locale Cinematics. For me, that's a series, that's a web series. Granted, it's on hiatus at the moment, but that's a series that for me I basically did to get my creative juices flowing, to test out new ideas when it comes to storytelling and camera angles, and to help some of my other actor friends and crew friends get a foot into the industry in some way, shape, or form. But I was never going to actually submit those to film festivals. They're always going to go up here on YouTube online to gain that kind of exposure, and they've been very successful up here on YouTube. If they would have been submitted to film festivals, granted, they could have been nominated for awards, they could have won awards. That's always a possibility, but I don't think it would have been as successful as they were here on YouTube, where they're getting the traction that I think they properly deserve. And another reason you may not want to submit to a film festival is actually I'm gonna be honest with you, if the film is actually just not good, straight up. Again, some of my earlier films, like The Deal, Unwritten, I never even considered submitting them to film festivals, and when the idea was initially brought up to me, I'm like, no, I'm just doing this because I want to. I'm testing out. I'm trying to be a director, and at the moment, I'm not looking to be submitting to film festivals. I know it may seem kind of counterintuitive, but again, sometimes the best idea for a film is to not submit to a film festival. Now, one thing you need to take into account if you are going to submit to a film festival are the rules of the festival. Film Freeway, which is arguably the most popular film festival submission website, that's the one I always use. When you go on a festival, they usually should have the rules of the festival and what you can or cannot submit. You should really pay attention to those rules, because you don't want to waste your time or money on submitting to a festival where maybe the rules don't apply to your film. Honestly, it saves a lot of time if you do that, if you follow them. That was honestly an issue I had very early on when I was submitting. I would just submit to festivals, any festival that I can, without really checking the rules, and because of that, sometimes I would get disqualified. Kind of just is what it is at that point, but you really do check the rules for it, because again, you don't want to waste your time, and you also don't want to waste their time. Just check the rules for the festival to make sure that what you're submitting is appropriate to the festival itself. Just to give a quick example, which will lead into my next point after this, but you don't want to submit to a festival that's primarily focused on female directors, for example, when you're a male director, or a festival where it's primarily a horror film festival and you're trying to submit a comedy. I'll touch base upon this in my next point, but again, you really want to follow rules in regards to the festival. The rules could be anything. It could be, hey, you have to be from this country, you have to be this gender, your film has to be about this topic, X, Y, and Z. Doesn't matter. Just make sure you follow the rules so you don't waste your time and you don't waste their time. Now, I just discussed in my previous points how there are, for example, some festivals that cater more towards female directors, and that's something you should really pay attention to. Look for festivals that fit a niche. Submit it to those type of festivals, because there's always festivals for whatever. A good example for me would be Quince. That is a horror film directed by a Hispanic male director, and it has a mostly Hispanic cast. And because of that, I've been able to submit my festival to a lot of horror-centered festivals. I've been able to submit to a lot of Hispanic-centered film festivals. So yeah, again, just look into what niches your film can be in, so you can submit. Likewise, if you're a Native American or Asian filmmaker, for example, look for film festivals that cater towards that type of audience. If your film is about LGBTQIA rights, look into those types of film festivals. If your festival is, for example, about mountain climbing, look for festivals that are about mountain climbing. And I'm not even saying that as a joke. Though I've seen festivals that are primarily based on mountain climbing, or for dance videos, or music videos as well, or for swimming, or even biking. We talked about getting disqualified. Funny story, I actually submitted my film to one of these festivals that actually just catered towards biking films, not really realizing it was a film based around biking, and I got disqualified. And that's how I realized, oh shit, some of these niches could get really oddly specific. So really look into what kind of niches your films can get into, and just kind of submit from there. The next thing I recommend, and this is more so right before you submit, when you're in the process of researching the film festivals you want to submit to, and that is to look at the reviews that the film festival has, both negative and positive, because that's something that personally has helped me a lot when looking at film festivals. It's helped me a lot seeing which festivals are reliable, which festivals are essentially a scam. It's something I'm surprised that not many directors do, or producers, or whoever submits for the film. It's something that I'm surprised not many people do, because I've talked to other directors, other producers who do submit films, and that's something that they usually don't pay attention to, which is something I'm very surprised they don't do. So I would recommend actually looking at the reviews and really paying attention with reviews, because here's the thing, with especially with positive reviews, which I tend to not like positive reviews, ironically enough, and that's because a lot of people who submit the reviews for the festival give it 5 stars and just say, hey, I'm really happy that my film got into this festival, and that's it. And honestly, those type of reviews don't tell me anything about the festival. Really look for reviews, both negative and positive, that actually discuss how the festival is run. What do they have an issue with, what do they do great. Again, just take everything into account and really pay attention to these reviews, because honestly, it's sometimes looking at the reviews has saved me a lot of time at submitting to festivals that are likely a scam, for example, or just not the most reputable of festivals. Now, granted, you'll still have situations where you may get scammed. I'm not gonna lie to you. I mean, if you've been on my channel long enough, you know that happened to me with that one Greek film festival. Granted, I didn't pay money with them, which I'll get to my next point, but still. And also, word of advice as well, you do reviews too. You should review these festivals as well, whether you like them or not, and actually give reasons as to why you did or didn't like the festival. That's And the last thing I want to say is to essentially budget a price for your film festival submission, because with every aspect of a film, from pre-production to post-production, you need to budget everything. Even if it's a student film with like $0, you always need to budget the film. So always take into account the budget you have when it comes to submissions. And a tip that I personally recommend is to, and I shit you not, submit to festivals that are free. That is right. There are festivals that you can submit that are free, zero, no charge. I highly recommend it, to be honest. Honestly, the bulk of the festivals I've been accepted to have been these kind of free festivals. And honestly, if you get rejected, so what? With any festival, whether you pay money or not, you're more likely to be rejected than actually get accepted. That's just the simple way of life, so to speak, when it comes to a filmmaker. If you submit to a free film festival, you don't lose money, whereas even if you were to spend $5 on a film festival submission, in that case, oh shit, I just lost $5. Whereas in this, okay, I didn't lose anything. It is what it is. So I do recommend you submit to free film festivals, but then in general, just make sure you have a budget for your film festival submissions, especially depending on which festivals you are planning on submitting, because like I said, film festival submissions can get pretty expensive. There are film festivals that are like 20, 30, 40, 50, hell, even $100. You got that kind of money, go ahead, be my guest. But for me, not right now, not at this time. And yeah, that's basically it for now. Do you guys have any other further tips that you guys want to provide when it comes to submitting to film festivals? If you do, leave all that down below, let us know. And yeah, that's basically it for now. This is Daniel Mart signing off.